groovy with us, man. This is at 432 The Drop Radio in your eardrum, falling down on your left shoulder like that there. And we are back. And I'm just going to get right into it, man. Welcome back, my brothers, yo brothers, Silas Nehemiah and Ra the Great One. My man, what's going on? What's the word? Shalom,
Rock Squad, what it do?
Squad up?
Nation.
Man, Drop Nation, what's popping, man? One more round of applause for Drop Nation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's all about our nation. And we know our nation got the drop. We know our nation has had the drop. Drop Nation, you know what I'm saying, goes way back. You know what I'm saying? Way back to, what Divine Prospect would break down to that Ugarit. Goes all the way back, man, before anyone called anything Israel, anything Hebrew. This frequency we are on goes back before your titles, before your bywords. This is the frequency of creation. It is, if it's true, as, brothers like Zion Lex like to break down, where this language is the frequency, it's the vibration. You can't say this came from this or it came from that. When you break down what this is, it's not even called Hebrew. We're just calling it that. So let's not get stuck and say, oh, well, officially Hebrew. When we understand the vibration, that when you're speaking that pure, man, things will vibrate around you. I mean, when they was talking to each other and giving them the real, in that language that is a mathematical, equivalent of each letter and words and sentences, and they can understand this, man, from a mathematical perspective, from a concrete perspective, then now we're talking about creation. Now we're talking about a vibration of creation we're talking about, and what's better than that? What's better than being back on that frequency? And, off air and definitely not off topic. We were talking about homeschooling our kids and all that. And it's like the first thing they should learn is a language that vibrates. I mean, when you want to get back into vibration and be able to communicate again, truly as a family, we got to get away from this English. We got to get away from this non-geometric frequency. Everything's a frequency. So if we're talking the language of our conquerors, our temporary conquerors, if we're speaking their language, that just shows that we're conquered by them. When we start going back to the east, we start going back, to the original, man. What was originally found here in stone thousands of years ago, on stone, in the Americas. You see the 10 Commandments in the paleo. You don't have to search far. You can search your backyard to see the truth. We don't have to do no expeditions to see the truth. It's right here. Everything's around us. So we're getting back to that, and we're getting back to being organic frequency, and we're talking about organic skies. And how can we have organic food when we don't have organic skies? We can't just subject ourselves to some delusion that our skies are not just polluted but poison. We don't like to say that, because then it makes us feel like, oh snap, I can't just go on living my regular way. If the sky is poison, I need to react somehow to the fact that someone is giving me information saying that they are purposely poisoning us, just like the fluoride show, just like the vaccines. And kicking it right to Ra the Great One, like he always does around this time, making sense and simplicity out this thing, going back to the community. It's like, Ra, we got poisonous waters, poisonous skies, speaking a poisonous language. We're given a poisonous frequency to listen to our music in, and that's even poison. When we search to be organic, when we search to, rid ourselves from as much of this poisoning as possible, where do we start? I mean, how do we prevent ourselves from a poisonous sky, Ra? I mean, is it just a conscious thing you think that because a lot of our family says, yeah, what does it matter? I can't do anything about it. You know what I'm saying? Why give me the information if I can't do nothing about it? Obviously, if you're saying the water got fluoride in it, then you can say, okay, well, don't drink that water. Drink alkaline water, right? So if our skies are poisoned, what do? I mean, that's the first question. I know it's a hard one, but let's try to build on that, and then we'll get into some of the, some of the meat or the veggies. The mucus-free meat.
A very difficult
the mucus-free meat.
What did you say?
So we'll get to the mucus-free meat. Shout out to Professor Spear. Spirit speaks. You already know what time it is.
Man, that's a tough one, man. I often, would just reflect on how in the world did we get here anyway, where the whole thing has just been flipped on its bottom, right? Everything has been flipped. Everything that you just mentioned is flipped. And how do you deal with the flipping air being poisonous? I don't know. I'll start there.
Thank you. Shout out to Ra the Great. That's all I need to know. Good looking, man. That's a great answer. That's a great answer, Ra.
I don't know. All I can do is all I can do.
True.
You know what I mean? So if I can just put in all the work that I could possibly do, then I'm doing my part. I think the more people become conscious of it, if people will walk around saying, what does it matter? I can't do nothing about it, and you've accepted it, right? You're taking it, and you're not trying to do anything about it. And if we take that attitude where we are trying to progress and trying to make changes and bring about the reality that we want to see, then spreading this awareness and this consciousness can awaken more and more people, and this is how you bring about change, a collective consciousness. So the more people we get on board, the more people that are aware, the more we can make the change that we want to see. And on top of that, I do understand that this is a psychological war, just as much as it is physical. So all of these things are done to enslave us mentally. So there is a mental aspect to it as well. I rarely look at anything from one angle. Like, everything has two sides, two polar sides to it. So for me, there is a very important aspect of it that is mental, that is a part of the mind that we must overcome. And I look at the positive whenever I can, because look at the things that we have overcome to this point with all of the tricks in their bag that they have thrown at us. And there's a lot. You just named 10 just right off the cuff. And we can really keep going. And to be the type of, we're survivors, man. They can't kill us.
Come on.
They've tried everything.
Talk about it.
So in a way, it works. They try to keep us down with these different things. They try to enslave us mentally, but it's not working. We are continually rising above it. We're able to, whatever situation we are in, we're adapting to it. So if we are doing this great in this society, underneath all of these lies, all of these deceit, all of these things that they're throwing at us, then imagine the ascended masters that we can be as we bring in this new vibration. So I think it's just important to do all you can do. Just keep your mind strong. Understand that whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. So if you say this is going to affect me, this is going to make me sick, they're poisoning me, then you're right. You will become poisoned, you will become sick, and it will affect you in that negative way. But if you think from that mind state that you can and will overcome it, no matter what, then I believe that you can and will overcome it. So that's the mental aspect that I think we just got to keep in check, along with keeping our health on point to, just fight against all of these elements that they're throwing at us.
Cain and Con. All that, man. I would be remiss if I don't give special love, attention, appreciation, special joy, man, to be able to greet this king back to the platform, man. I mean, this king right here is responsible, man, for so much of my wake-up call, so much of my building. This is one of my personal confidants, who I can trust, man, that can always have the drop, know the right questions, encourages me to ask the right questions. Welcome back to the platform, that King D. Will.
Wow. D. Will in the building? Man, that's a beautiful introduction. I appreciate that, my brother kingdrop.
Come on, man. D. Will. What is
like
the word?
Like I fell off this flat earth, huh?
Oh, man, we go in, man. We got to figure out what's going on. D. Will, man, what's good, King? Please, you know what I'm saying, just say whatever you want to say, brother. I ain't gonna ask you nothing, man. Just talk on the king. Talk on them right quick.
I was digging what all Jay was saying. I just have to ride that coattail. Yeah, we are some great people, and the sad thing is, a lot of us are not tapping into that. I'm with him, and I know he probably said this. I'm probably echoing it, but we need to get to that. We need to get to that point to where we know that we are great, that we come from great, that it's in us to do great, and not listen to the media and the naysayers say otherwise. It takes me back. It's funny. It takes me back to everybody's seen the movie Space Jam, and when the little Martians, they got all big and they were still getting basically punked by their boss, and it wasn't until they realized that they were bigger than him, till they realized and noticed their power, that they were able to, in a way, break away from that I guess that power that he had on him. Yeah, that hold that he had on him. And I think if we get there, well, when we get there, and we realize our power, we're going to sit back and say, like, man, I wish I would have known about this earlier. So I'm just enjoying what y'all got going on, man. That's all I got to say.
Man, this is what we got going on, and all we really did is put what we normally do on a platform, you know what I'm saying, for the folks to build on, to, like Ra always says, man, chew the meat, spit the bones, man, and just because you spit a bone, you think it's a bone, doesn't mean it's not some mucus-free meat. Mucus-free meat. You know what I mean? It might be some good veggies in there. It might be some veggies in them bones, man. It might be some veggies in the bones. Yo, Kings to you, D. Will. Definitely missed you, brother. And I'm not sure if you got acquainted yet with Silas Nehemiah, but he's on the platform as well. And this brother spends a lot of time, man, videotaping these chemtrails on a daily basis. So I know this hits real close to home for you, my brother.
Yes. Greetings, brother Nehemiah. Nehemiah, right?
Silas
Nehemiah. Yes, sir. Okay.
Silas. You can call me Silas. I'm doing well,
my brother.
Blessed, man. Nice to meet you. I heard a lot about you, man. A lot about you. Been anticipating.
I appreciate it. Hope it was some good stuff, man.
Well,
nothing but the best for the best.
Yeah, far extinguisher. Y'all crazy.
So King Silas, man, what's going on with these trails, man? I know you see him on a daily basis. You videotape these things. What
I haven't been following as close as you have, but I'll just jump in. Whatever y'all got going.
Oh, no doubt, man. This is something that we're all involved in because obviously, you know what I'm saying, we all getting sprayed on. They spraying us, man. So we all got some drop on this. We getting sprayed on, you know what I'm saying? So, please, Brother Silas, man, what are chemtrails? Please just give an introduction to the people, the Drop Nation, that have never probably heard these things or have maybe seen them but not had the opportunity to recon this stuff.
Well, a little history on chemtrails. I'll go back to this reading that comes from Ken Adachi, and it's on a website called Educate Yourself. And this goes back a while. It indicates, it says, if you're unfamiliar with the subject of chemtrails, it says you should first read the overview, but then it says the overview, general overview of the chemtrail spraying operations, which began in earnest in the late 1977. So this isn't something that's, that's new. 1997, I'm sorry. But, this isn't something that's new. It's been going on for a while. And it goes on to say for over a year, the military has been spraying the skies throughout America, Canada, and now parts of Europe. And I went to look at the ingredients of chemtrails, and I just found I found 30 different ingredients that they have in chemtrails. Going back to the aluminum, they even have white blood cell particles in chemtrails. They've got just about everything that you can think of that are in chemtrails. And the most disturbing part about it is none of it is visible, and we see it as a mist. And just seeing that mist up there, we're thinking that, it's going to dissolve and it won't affect it. But I did a video the other day where you could see where this one plane that was flying, it didn't leave a trail behind. But the chemtrail planes, they leave a long trail. So it's definitely a lot of particles that we can't see that end up being dissolved. And there are 8 major chemtrail types, that they have. One of them is called a salty metallic type. There's one called the iron aluminum type. There's a drywall best type. There's an acetone type. There's a swamp water type. A pharmaceutical type, a sulfur type, and it goes on with some other types, which are the blunt metallic type, the metallic chemical type, the pesticide type, the freshly cut grass type, dry sheet fabric softener type. Can you believe that? Model type and cement burnt plastic type. So these are the various types of chemtrails that they have. And it says most chemtrail types, this type, it's speaking of the salty metallic type, it says this type was originally associated with long persistent plumes that eventually became associated with short non-persistent plumes. Plume size really doesn't matter. The content is the same. The plumes appear white, just like other chemtrail types. So all of this, everything that we see, it appears to be white, like a white cloud, but as you notice, they dissipate. And also, when the sun reflects up against them, that's when you get that kind of rainbow, it's like you may see a rainbow in one spot on what appears to be a cloud, but it's not a cloud. That's the reflection off of that aluminum in the chemtrail, because we know that the sun doesn't reflect off of clouds. That just doesn't happen. So there are kind of telltale ways of identifying them. Once you just wake up and look up in the sky and just see, it's like that can't be a cloud because clouds don't dissipate.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
but we'll get into some of the other types of some other stuff. But that's just kind of a little general breakdown of the different types of chemtrails they have, and we can go into detail on each one. But there's a site called globalskywatch.com, and that will give you a lot of information on chemtrails and various observations of chemtrails. I mean, they have a wonderful site regarding chemtrails, even regarding vaccinations, stuff having to do with that pertaining to chemtrails. So, sorry to go on, but as Brother Raw and D. Will alluded to, Man, I remember I would see these Asian people wearing these little surgical masks. And, you know, you would look at them like, you know, y'all tripping. You know, you walking around with these masks and like you breathing something in. And, man, now when I see them, man, I be wanting to ask them for one, you know, because it's like I see, you know, I see what they're dealing with now. Because we're breathing this stuff in daily. I mean, there's no way around it. If you breathe air, you're breathing it in, whether you like it or not. You know?
Period. And, and China and Japan are doing this just as much as us. So they are used to it as well, seeing the spraying. But yeah, Kings, you, Silas, man, that was a great intro. Definitely when you get into the white blood cells, and I got the same info that I'll read in a minute as well. But to you, D. Will, man, I mean, it's like, you know, when we hear blood spores, aluminum, barium, then we start getting into the specifics, the side effects, you know, these new illnesses popping up left and right, you know, all this kind of stuff like that. I mean, having children, you know what I'm saying? Like my daughter the other day, you know, or like my kids used to look at these things and say, oh, look, you know, Daddy, the rocket ship, you know, the space ship. They see this long thing with this little plane in front, which are now a lot of people are exposing are drones. Some of them are even orbs. They're not even planes. They're just little like orbs. You can't even see the plane. It's just an orb, and it's spraying like a little ball that's being remote controlled to spray stuff. A lot of these are being exposed as drones because, you know, if the pilot doesn't have to know, then that's even better, right? So they're cutting out the middleman. They're cutting out the pilot. But yeah, D. Will, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, what in the world, man? You know what I'm saying? When we hear that this has been going down since 97, at least 18 years, it's been all experimental, a lot of hush-hush, and it's happening at such, it seems like an elevated rate. I mean, now I can't go outside. I can't even think to go outside without seeing these things all over the place. You know, in your opinion, man, like, you know, where's this leading? Like, why are they doing this? You know what I'm saying? What are they covering up? You know, do they just want to poison us? Or are they, let's say, creating a holographic screen, projection screen for Project Blue Beam and some holographic technology? Let's just throw that out there. Is it that or that? Which one is it?
I think it's a lot of both. You know, because the thing is, you know, they're trying to hit us from every angle as possible. You know, they're hitting us in the water, hitting us in the food, and now they're hitting us in the air. And then if you look at the water, the food, and what's the common denominator with that is it's an attack on the melanin. And I think the only way to further ensure that their plan works is something that we cannot live without at the moment is air. So I think air is probably like their final key to trying to take the melanated people out. And, you know, the individuals who already don't have sense, you know, telling what this chemical is going to do to, you know, cause a chemical reaction within their body. I just think that, you know, they're playing God. They're being to the point they're so boastful, and they think it's a game. I've seen chemtrails where they're putting happy faces in the sky. They're putting "I love you," writing messages. You know, it's all a game to them. But the end result is, you know, I just believe that it's an attack on mostly melanated people to keep us at this lower state, this lower frequency, lower vibration, to where we don't, and this is going back to what Robert Gray said, to where we don't tap into that mastery or the higher self. And, you know, the only way of doing that, just like hospitals, you know, fill them up with a bunch of chemicals and keep them docile as possible.
Right. And that's what it seems like it's doing, right? It seems like it's keeping us docile. The frequency alone, the energy alone that they're feeding us is keeping us docile. And y'all think I'm playing with this holographic stuff, man. Y'all got to research Project Bluebeam. These are just old. This is old stuff. This is old stuff that's been, pulled up from Project Paperclip and all that stuff. Project High Jump, when you get into that Antarctica drop. But here are the 4 steps of Project Bluebeam. All right, so first let me get into what is Project Bluebeam, and then we're going to get into, I'm kind of going backwards. I was going to do it the conventional way. I'm going to get into the into some of the skinny, and then I'm going to go back into the mucus-free meat. All right, so first with the skinny, we have to understand this this whole Bluebeam situation. All right, so we got NASA, Bluebeam. What is this all about? Okay, let me pull this up. Project Bluebeam. The infamous NASA Bluebeam project has 4 different steps in order to implement the New Age religion with the Antichrist at its head. If you think this is a joke, these people is crazy. Remember that. And this is what they plan on doing. This is what they're trying to do. They're spraying the skies. It's not just about poisoning us, because they can poison us with anything. They don't have to spray anything to poison us. I mean, we're already getting poisoned. You know what I'm saying? They're spending billions and billions of dollars just to spray stuff with the only intention of poison. I think they can do it in a much cheaper way, like dumping fluoride in all our water supplies. However, this particular situation with this Bluebeam kind of rubs me the wrong way, because it has these 4 steps to it. And it's all about faking this alien invasion type of thing. Once you understand we are on a stationary plane, that whole outer space and aliens on Mars and all this kind of stuff, everything's underneath us. The stars are underneath the firmament. The sun is underneath it. The moon is underneath it. It's revolving around you. So when you look at it from that perspective, if you choose to, if you dare to, you understand that their so-called alien invasion is involving fallen angels. It's not involving aliens. You know what I'm saying? These fallen angels and what they're trying to set up in the skies and all this. And they've already tested this stuff. They can write in the sky. They can do all kinds of stuff in the sky based on the metals that they've been spraying. It's like a huge projection. It's a huge projection screen, because they've been spraying certain types of compounds of metals that don't just evaporate and fall to the floor. They are creating a sort of grid or stick in the grid, you know what I'm saying, to where they're able to actually fake all this stuff that we're seeing in the sky. A lot of times they're able to actually fake what they're trying to fake in this Project Bluebeam, which is this Antichrist, or this other type of something to worship outside of our Creator. So they can say, hey, look, here comes Jesus. We're showing you. They have a huge projection screen, and a lot of people are going to fall for this, man. They're going to do it. I'm telling you 100. You're going to see some type of, fake rapture, something happening that's going to look so real. You're going to have to be so grounded in truth not to fall for it. Even if you're saying, yeah, right, I'm not going to fall for it. When you see it and you feel the trembling and you hear voices in your head and all this stuff that they're using technology to do, but you're not up on it, then, you know what I'm saying, you understand what it's all about, this chaotic situation. Once they get you in that, then boom, King Alfred's plan. They can do any of this other stuff if they get you to run to them. If they say there's an alien invasion, oh no, who's going to save us? Our military is going to save us. So now you think of them as the good guys. You're going to be running into their camps. You're going to be running towards them for help. When, if you understand these are fallen angels and they're working with the military in this plan, then you're staying away from all that stuff. You're trying to get low and get to that wilderness or whatever you got to do, man. Because you can't go into these camps with these people. You can't trust them. I don't care if they send aliens. I don't care if they send ISIS. I don't care if they send domestic threats. So Bluebeam is all about this whole, holographic sky, fake rapture type of thing. And it pretty much comes in a few different steps. You know what I'm saying? One of them being, in 1991, the University of Arizona hosted a conference entitled the NATO Advanced Research Workshop on Current and Emergent Phenomena, and by bimolecular systems. Why does that mean? What does that mean exactly? It means that we refer to one paper that was delivered at the conference, which stands out for its different attitude towards the development under discussion at the time. It was in effect a protest and a chilling warning to the attending scientists about the potential abuse of what they're calling air research findings. Their finding, of course, stated that the United States had already developed communications equipment which can make the blind see, the deaf hear, the lame walk. It can relieve the terminally ill from pain without the use of drugs or surgery. And we're not talking about science fiction. These technologies and new communications equipment are being used to torture and murder people who match profiles imagined to be able to screen and given populations for terrorists, for torture, for murder. This is being used already in all these underground prisons and all this kind of stuff. I mean, they got regular black prisons popping up all over the place, even in Baltimore. They've been taking people for all these rides in Chicago and dumping them in all these other places. They've been using these experimental frequencies on people. They've been, doing all this stuff. So to poison you, they don't have to do it. But when you look at this Project Bluebeam, you got step 1, concerns the breakdown of all archaeological knowledge. So all of archaeology, everything that we're trying to put together, they first got to break that down. They need some false proof from the far past that will prove to all nations that their religions have been misinterpreted and misunderstood. So they're going to first have to take you away from the concrete. The concrete is, really the Hebrew lineage. After that comes out what they're calling the Biblios and all these extractions out of a culture that went into Christianity, a lot of the religions that are based on the extraction, not the actual concrete culture, but they're based on the understanding of God. They're based on the understanding of righteousness, not the actual laws. Step 2 involves a gigantic space show with 3-dimensional optical holograms and sounds, laser projection of multiple holographic images, quote-unquote, God's voice will be speaking in all languages and in every human. You can look at these Sprite commercials where they have people stand on this little circle and they can suddenly hear voices in their head because they're projecting lasers of sound into these people. They're testing this stuff to see, and people are like, it sounds like God is in my head. I can hear something in my head. That's what they're going to be beaming this into everybody to where you're going to hear voices, you're going to see stuff. Step 3, artificially induced thought. They can put thoughts in your head by beaming this frequency into you. What do you think they're doing with this 440 hertz? Why do you think everything, all music, all television, everything got to be on that one frequency grid? That's the frequency of the matrix. That's not the frequency of the creator. That's like the dome within a dome. That's the grid within the grid. So they got artificially induced thought and communication from satellites now in place to our brains. Universal and supernatural manifestations via electronics, causing us to believe in an imminent invasion or rapture. And when you look deeper into this electronics and now you're looking at your smartphones and these chips that are already coming with your smartphones to where they can send all kind of energy through your phones. They'll have you thinking something's coming out your phone, like all your electronics, your computers, your laptops. They can send holograph images basically through. Now, the thing is that not only are they holographic, but these particular energies are actually tapping into this stuff. So it's not completely fake. It's like they're using the technology in order to, implement really the damn near worst damn torment you can imagine. And that's what we've been warned about. By many societies, we've been warned about that it's going to really hit the fan on some crazy, crazy way. Whatever's coming, whatever they've been doing underground in all their laboratories, all across Dulce, New Mexico, all across Area 51, whatever you want to call. What do you think they've been working on? But some super duper global, fake plan to get anybody who's not grounded, anybody who, just to wish you away, man. into chaos or into some new religion, some new world order religion. You know, we don't have to. That's what the Pope is saying right now. Oh, everything's the same. Let's all come together. They want a world religion. So that's some of the skinny. I was going to wait to give the Drop Nation later. I know we even got that deep into what exactly is going on in these chemtrails. But yeah, look this stuff up, people, because I don't want to wait to tell you. I'm going to tell you right now. It is poison, but something is afoot. This is way deeper than just, you know, dropping blood on you for no reason. You know, whatever this mixture is, this compound is working to the benefit for the near future. Before we go into a quick song 1-2, Rah the Great One, please build on that, my man.
Yeah, man. That's you know, that's some scary ideas there that were thrown out. I remember Phil Valentine once spoke, and he was like, oh, this was like 10 years ago. He was like, they're going to give you your Jesus. They're going to give you your Jesus coming out of the sky, and it's going to be through some type of frequency modulator where they can project this in the sky. Very similar to what you're talking about. This was years ago when he said something like this. And when you consider the technology that we hold in our hands with our phones, and we know they only give us a small percentage of the technology that they have, you know that they are working on some bigger plans to deceive. Their whole thing is built around deception. They have too much control at this point. You know, it's gotten to the point where we've already talked about how they've taken over the land with the food, and then they've taken over the sea with infiltrated the water, and now they're taking over the sky. And what it sounds like to me is it's back to mind control. They're basically, if they're able to, you know, be able to put thoughts or voices in your head, then they are actually able to control your mind, which for me is the basis of everything. You know, being able to control your own mind, your own thoughts. That's what the media, these billboards, these advertisements, and everything it's trying to do is control your thoughts, or at least navigate your thoughts in the direction that you want them to go. This whole Western society, from the day you're born in this society, you are navigated to believe certain things and go a certain way. You walk around the street right now, you get to see everybody just about celebrating Christmas. You know, this is the way it goes. It's a mind control thing. Let me keep you in control. So it's kind of a scary thing to think about, and it comes down to us knowing the fact that it's always two frequencies we can vibrate on. And we talk about this every week because it's very important. You can go with the fear, you can go with the love frequency. These things that they are putting out on us, they keep us on the fear frequency. And they're on top of that, they're trying to control our thoughts, control our mind. So we have to be able to navigate through these things if we're going to be able to win this war or ascend past this level of deception that they're throwing out. You have to control the masses, the way we feel, the way we think, and to control our own minds and be grounded and rooted, like you mentioned before. And just lastly, really fast, if you guys saw that movie Insurgent, they put all these things in plain view. Whether somebody is doing this to open our eyes, or whether it's, you know, some type of conspiracy or deception. But in this Insurgent, they had chip type things in people's heads where once they activated it, they were in full control of that person. They were like robots. They can have that person do and say anything they want. And they were having people kill themselves. They were walking off a building, you know, dying. So, you know, this is something that they're putting out there on us, man. A lot of it, to me, feels like the Hegelian dialectic, where they create a problem, they create which causes a reaction, and then they come in with the solution, which is exactly what you were mentioning before. If they just, these fallen angels come upon us, or if they create this hallucinogen or this projection upon us that, you know, is all induced by them and full control by them, when they create a problem, a reaction will come from that, which people will either scurry to it or be terrified of it, but regardless, they'll come in with a solution, which would be their army or their people to bring in these people, and after that, you're done. You fall right into their hands. So we just got to be, you know, aware. We got to be conscious and be prepared for this mess, man. It was powerful that you're bringing it out.
Man, we got Ra the Great One, Silas Nehemiah, man, and back to this frequency, man. The big homie D Will, man, keeping it so trill all dang day, man. Blessed to these brothers, man, and I'm blessed to be sharpened, you know, on a daily basis, man, by this particular squad here, man. This particular team of researchers and you know, just scientists. You know, Ra had to remind me. I was talking about something today, and I said, "Look, I'm no scientist, but this is what it is." And he said, "How are you not? You know, you are a scientist. We are a science. We are scientists as soon as we begin to observe, as soon as we begin to look for that repeatable, you know what I'm saying, explanations and understandings. If it's repeatable, if you can repeat it and observe it, that's what science is. It's not about saying gravity exists because it keeps water in a ball, and somehow as you spin it doesn't fly off. And we don't have to show you any curvature curving water, but just believe it. Believe in gravity. As long as you believe it, although it's a theory, it's going to keep things together for you. You know, that's not science. Science is questioning all things. That's why all these topics were so huge before they started to silence all of the minority report, the scientists that were getting pushed out from science. And these particular people, these NASA folks, I'll leave it with this story before we hit this quick, you know, great break. Let you vibe out in 432 hertz. Just some great music here. That's what we do. There is a story about a woman who has been tenacious in trying to contact NASA, her state's congressional reps, etc., to find out specific reasons why lithium niobate and lithium tantalate are being dispersed from jets and chemtrails. She manages to speak and record her phone conversation she had recently with one of the top scientists involved in the chemtrail project, and his info is quite interesting. He mentions Wallop Flight Facility and says all the work is done at Clemson University. I'm gonna need y'all to look this up and look at the YouTube yourself. You can research, you can look up NASA admits chemtrails. I believe this was originally recorded July of 2013. There's a couple of different excerpts in audio. I wanted to get that and have that up for you today. Didn't have time to do it, but this dude clearly says it's lithium. We are running weather tests about the ionosphere, and we're trying to study it so we can understand the ionosphere of the Earth. In 2015, you spraying lithium like it's just all gravy. Like lithium is all good to spray at that quantity that you guys are spraying, so you can run some tests on the ionosphere. But you've covered it up for 18 years. All right, I'm gonna let y'all use your senses on this one. We're gonna get to this Herbie Hancock, man. I mean, these jackrabbits, man, we gotta hit him with this jackrabbit right quick, man. Herbie Hancock, jackrabbit, deal with it, man. 432 hertz.